The Secrets of Technology is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give. You're listening to The Secrets of Technology. Hi, I'm Dom Bettinelli, and you're listening to The Secrets of Technology, where we discuss the technology news that's important to you from a uniquely Catholic point of view. And joining me today on the panel are Thomas Sanjurjo. Hey, Thomas.
Hey, Dom. It's good to be here.
And Jack Baruzzini. Welcome back, Jack.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
It's alliterative. It rhymes. I know it's not intentional. Before we get to today's topics, I want to recommend another show on the StarQuest Network that I'm sure you will enjoy called The Secrets of Star Wars. And you can find that wherever fine podcasts are found or at sqpn.com/Star Wars. Sorry, I've got a cough drop. I'm going to be stumbling over my lips and teeth this whole time, but I think it's better than me coughing the whole time.
Just talk like Sean Connery.
Yeah, or Sean Connery's The Secrets of Technology. That was a terrible Sean Connery. So let's move on and get to today's topics, which is it's December. As this episode releases, not as we record it, but as it releases, it will be December, which means it's time to start thinking about Christmas gifts for your loved ones or maybe for yourself. And while I know that we don't want to be too consumerist about things, there's a lot of talk about stuff around Christmas, and I get that. But we also want to do nice things for the people in our lives, or people will ask us what to get us for Christmas because they want to do a nice thing for us at Christmas time. So keeping that in mind, we're not recommending that you buy everything that we're about to discuss, but we are going to do it.
No.
We're going to, the next few weeks, I know, not everything. It would be way too much. But the next few weeks, we're going to have some topically themed Christmas gift guides. And this week, we're going to be talking around wearables, some gift ideas surrounding the idea of wearables. Now, I want to say right here up front, when we do these gift guides, these are different from our picks of the week. Like the gift guide is things that we might have owned or tried or have experience with, but some of it could also be aspirational or things that we just think are cool that we wouldn't mind getting for ourselves or that sort of thing. So these aren't necessarily endorsements on our part, but they are more like things that we think might make good gifts and that you should maybe check them out. But use your buyer's discretion when you're shopping for these things. So with that said, we're going to be talking about wearables. Thomas, wearables was your idea, and I wanted to ask you, what do you consider wearables?
That's a tough question.
Which I probably should have asked before I made my list, but go ahead.
No, I think this is anything that the intention of the item is that you put it on your body somewhere and it collects data, is used somehow, but the intention of that is interacted with without your hands. So you don't have to, your phone is a wearable technically because you're going to stick it in your pocket, right? But
right.
But you still have to pull that out and interact with it with your hands. So I'm thinking anything that is hands off but still doing something on your body, that's technology.
Okay, that's good. That's a good definition. So why don't we get started with that? And I'll let you start off with your first gift idea in this wearables space.
All right. I think this is probably going to be the first one we all do, which is the first one we all thought of too, was headphones.
Yes.
Some variety of headphones, because headphones are great when you have to plug them in, but a lot of headphones now we have are usable via Bluetooth, and that makes them infinitely more usable. First off, and then also just really great in-ear most of the time, but sometimes over the ear too. And the ones that I picked were JBLs. I love my JBL headphones. I got them years ago because I needed a set of Bluetooth headphones and just walked into Best Buy and grabbed the cheapest ones I could find. Uh-huh. And they've served me extremely well for years. The case is nice. It's a good durable case. It's got a sleek little USB cable that kind of tucks into it so that it looks like a little pod, and then you just pull the little USB cable out and plug it in wherever you can. charge it up. The battery lasts for a good long time, and the sound's great. They have all sorts of varieties. So there's the cheapest ones they have are like $25, and then you can go all the way up to like $150, really nice, like Pro set. And they might even have some that are more expensive than that. But really, the ones that I got probably 6 years ago now were $50, and they've lasted me this entire time. The battery has not failed on them. They're still going strong, and they are used very regularly.
Cool. Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, they're on sale right now on the JBL website. So check that link if you're interested to get them while they're still on sale. It's a 50% off sale, which is pretty generous. Excellent. So Jack, what's your first gift idea?
My first gift idea is in the same vein, headphones. It's the Google Pixel Buds Pro. They're essentially Google's answer to the AirPods Pro, and they're very good headphones. I will say this with the caveat that I got them at a discount of $50 off. They're normally $200, but you can find them pretty often for $150, and I would say that's really the best price point to get them at. But they're nice true wireless earbuds. They have active noise canceling. They do the Dolby Atmos thing. They're really comfortable, which is nice. They don't have like any sort of stems or like pieces sticking out, so they just sit right in your ears. And if you have a Google Pixel phone, they do the same thing that the AirPods do, where it's a completely seamless experience. One feature that I really like is that they have the wireless charging built into the case, so you can charge it off the back of your phone if you need to.
Oh, that's nice. The charging off the phone is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and well, I mean, I guess I'll round out this panel with my pick, which is the AirPods Pro. So it looks like we've all fallen into our pattern. I'm Apple, you're Google, and you're a third party upstart. So,
random something,
which is much less expensive and much more sensible. But I love the AirPods Pro. I've had AirPods Pro for a while now, and I made the mistake of letting my wife try my AirPods Pro with the noise cancellation, and I almost didn't get them back. So she got some for her birthday because what we both love about it is the noise cancellation.
Mm-hmm.
You just pop them in your ear and suddenly all the noise goes away. And she was saying like she likes to listen to podcasts and stuff while she's making dinner, and it's just the kids are running around and everything's making noise and stuff like that. And she pops it in, and suddenly she can hear her podcasts, and it's wonderful. And let me tell you another thing that I discovered. I went to my nephew's wedding this past week, who in his mid-20s, and I'm such an old man. It was so loud. And I mean, frankly, my ears are still ringing days later. But if you go to something like that, you pop in your noise canceling earbuds, and while it doesn't make the sound go away, it reduces it quite a bit to basically safer levels. And it was so much better. And with the transparency mode, you can actually hold a conversation with people. In fact, I saw recently a study that showed that AirPods Pro, because hearing aids are now available over the counter, prescription ones will always be better. But they found that the AirPods Pro, and probably the Pixel Buds probably are the same way, they work really well. It's better than any of the other over-the-counter headphones. So that was pretty remarkable. So AirPods, they're not cheap. They're kind of pricey. They're up there like the Pixel Buds. But I love them. They're worth it for me. So yeah, it's great. So that brings us back around to you, Thomas. What's your next gift idea?
All right. So my next one is a watch recommendation, and this is based on my use of the Galaxy 4, which I've had for a while, and the Galaxy 5 watch just came out recently. I am definitely interested in getting one, and this is from a guy who, until just before this year, never wore a wristwatch, and got one this year because I was like, I really need one. I'm seeing a lot of other people wear them. I might as well go ahead and get the smartwatch. And I have just fallen in love with this thing. I love the way it works. It keeps a charge fantastically. I really only have to charge it like every few days. Just put it back on the charger for maybe an hour and then pick it back up and it's ready to go. So the Galaxy Watch 5 seems to be all the same stuff, just better. So it's like the next generation of it. So I'm definitely looking for it. I will say one thing. Go ahead and get it fresh. But if you wait a little while, I got mine as a refurb. And so it was Galaxy Watch 4. I got it as one of those that, somebody had returned it or something like that. And it came, secondhand, but it had a warranty on it at that secondhand. And it's been fine. It's been a great watch. So something was wrong with it, or they just didn't want it and it got returned and couldn't be resold as new.
That's awesome. I really like the round form factor of the watch, because I kind of wish the Apple Watch were round, because I don't know. To me, watches should be round. I don't know, because time is circular and not square. I don't know. But I do like that. I noticed
it looks nicer.
It does. And I noticed on the Samsung website that they give a $75 trade-in credit on the Watch 5 for any watch trade in any condition. So, I mean, if you've got an old one laying around that's no good, yeah, definitely save some money. Excellent. Good pick. Jack, what's your next gift idea?
My next gift idea is just a fun little novelty gift. It's the Star Trek Next Generation CommBadge Bluetooth communicator. And it's just like a Bluetooth communicator. You can connect it to your phone and you can use it to take calls and to make calls out. And that's one of the ones that I have. You can attach it magnetically to your shirt, which is nice. So you can just wear it anywhere. And when you hit it, it does like the little chirp. So
this is the sound. I was going to say, it's got a chirp.
Oh my gosh.
No, I don't know how much practical utility it has, but it is awesome.
Oh, my childhood coming to life. This is awesome. This is definitely going on my Christmas list. That's for sure. Good one. How about you, Thomas? What's your next idea? Oh no, that's my turn.
Your turn, man.
My turn. Sorry, getting myself mixed up. So I'm also picking a watch, and I've mentioned this before. I upgraded recently this year to the Apple Watch Series 8, and I love it. The battery life is improved. I sometimes look at, when we talked about this months ago when the Apple introduced these, I was like, I don't need an Apple Watch Ultra. I'm not that guy. I kind of wish it's too much watch. I kind of wish I got it, but I recognize it's too much watch. But the Series 8 is a great watch. The battery life is not quite what the Galaxy is. It's not, I can't wear it for several days, but I can wear it overnight. I can wear it 24 hours and it's still got a 25% to a third of the charge left. So, so now I can do sleep tracking with it and the body temperature tracking, which it does when you're sleeping. And then I get up, I throw it on the charger before I get in the shower. And by the time I'm done, it's fully charged and ready to go again. So it's an awesome watch. It's got a nice big screen. And the thing about it there's a couple of things I love about it, is the integration with things like focus mode. So like right now when I'm podcasting, I hit a button on my Stream Deck on my desk, and it puts all my stuff into, among other things, it does a bunch of stuff, but it also puts everything into a focus mode that also sets a custom watch face that's distraction free. It's got the time and the date, and that's it. And it won't pop up any notifications or anything. So I love that it's automatic, and I just love having all that stuff automated. So, and the Series 8 is, I forget what it is, like $400. I think I paid less than that. I think that might be one of the upper level ones. But you can also get the SE, and there's some lower level ones that still have a lot of the same features and like that. Apple Pay, by the way, is also really awesome. I really love walking up to any counter and hitting the button twice and paying right there, then and there. The only thing I must say, I think I mentioned this before, the makers of those little terminals have to get on the same page and figure out where on the terminal they're going to put the reader.
Right.
Because I'm always like waving my arm around like I'm stirring something, trying to find it. It's a little bit
It's a magic spell.
Yes.
It's just like you have to cast your spell.
Yes, create the vortex.
Sign of the cross over it.
That's what it is. I have to bless the terminal. So Apple Watch Series 8, no surprise. That's my one of my gift ideas. So, all right, now it's time to go back to you, Thomas. What's your next one?
All right. So my next one's a little bit more of the Cub Scout dad in me. This is called the Everlight headlamp. And it's a great headlamp. Like, this thing looks amazing. And the thing that really sold me on wanting one of these is that it's got a motion sensor in it that turns the lamp on and off. So you just wave your hand up by your head, and you don't have to click a button or anything like that. It's nice and sleek. It has a big long LED on it, but also kind of a pin light off the side that's just a regular flashlight. So if you're used to using a headlamp as a camper, it's got that pin light function, but then it's also got this really broad LED set that casts a very wide light in front of you. So anybody who's in the market for this kind of thing, or knows someone who camps a lot or is into hiking and might need something like this, I would love one of these personally. I think it'd be great.
This looks awesome. I have a bunch of headlamps because I'm a scout dad too, and I've got one that looks like I'm a Navy SEAL. I mean, it's got like 5 bright LED lights on the front. It's almost too much, but this, I like this. It's sleek. The thing about headlamps is they can get heavy. You know, if it's too much battery and whatever. Also, I notice in this that it does USB charging, but you can also use AAA batteries on a pinch, which is fantastic because you're more likely to find a AAA battery out in the woods than you are to find a plug-in.
Find a USB charger.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's a good one. And again, it's because it's the shopping, the present shopping season. They have 50% off on their website right now, so that's a pretty good deal. Excellent. So, Jack, what's up next for you for a gift idea?
My next pick is the Fitbit Inspire 3. It's the bare bones lowest Fitbit that they make, and I like it because it's nice and small, and it just does the basic things. It does all the health and wellness tracking and workouts and stuff like that, but it doesn't really have a lot of the other distractions that you can get when you go up to a full smartwatch. And it's only $100, so it's pretty cheap. And it's good if you're just looking for something where it's just going to be focused on the fitness aspect and none of the other bells and whistles.
Yeah. I mean, it does blood oxygen and heart rate and all that sort of stuff too. I mean, that's a pretty good thing. And plus it's got a 10-day battery, you know what I mean?
Yeah, which is really nice.
That is a nice idea. Yeah. Fitbit's been around for a while, and they figured this space out pretty early. That's a good one. So my next one is another set of headphones, but these are over-the-ear headphones. And as I was looking these up, it looks like they might be phasing these out. These are from Soundcore, which is an Anker company. Anker makes the batteries and other chargers like that, but their brand for audio is called Soundcore. And these are the Soundcore Life Q10 Bluetooth headphones. And I've eventually gotten one of these for each of my kids. All 5 of my kids have these. They're inexpensive over-the-ear headphones that work really well. They keep a good charge. The kids can wander pretty far from their devices and still listen to them. I mean, my kids practically have them on all the time. I end up sticking a tile tracker to them so that they're constantly like, Dad, where's my headphones? So, and one of the things they tend to do is when they lose them, the first thing they do is they play the Imperial March on full volume and then try to find it, follow the sound. So that's clever of them. Nice. But they're $50 now. I think they were cheaper when I bought them. I think they were like 40, but they're $50 now, but they have a 30% off right now. They're probably clearing out their inventory. So I would say definitely check it out while you can. They have other headphones with noise canceling and stuff like that. So, those are a little more expensive. Like the Life Q10s are $60, but like I said, they have noise canceling. So that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I actually have these ones you're talking about, and they do a good job of blocking out sound just with the insulating foam.
Yeah, they give pretty good coverage. I mean, they either that or my kids are ignoring me all the time. But yeah, I mean, they seem to block out extraneous sound. I have kids who have audio like misophonia, like other people's noises drive them crazy. You get irrationally angry, and despite being, in addition to being teens, and so they put these on and it kind of calms them down with, music or a audio book. They use it a lot for audiobooks. So we pair them with their Kindles, that sort of thing. So, yeah, definitely. My recommendation is these Soundcore Q10s. All right. Brings it back to you, Thomas.
So this is another health and fitness tracker that I'm recommending, and it's called the Oura Ring, Oura, and it's a fitness tracker. It does bare bones basics. So there's no screen, there's no interaction with it. You Bluetooth it to your apps, and it updates the information in there, which is what your watch is going to do anyway. And my big thing with the watch is I'm always concerned about how accurate the readings are, because it kind of wobbles around on my wrist. I don't want to like crank it down on my wrist so that it's perfectly stationed in the same spot or something like that. And my wife also has problems with wearing watches and wearing watches out. Like she has a bioelectric field. So we're going to get her one of these actually that will fit on her finger. It'll be a little less in the way of everything. And it tracks your sleep, tracks your temp, does all the same kind of trackings that like the Fitbits and things do. Not quite to the depth of some of them, but it's a great idea. And it's one of those things that I think they look really nice too. That's the other thing. It's like it does look like a piece of jewelry. It's a little bulkier than just a normal ring, but it's something you could wear and you wouldn't mind wearing out to do things.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a nice idea to make it smaller. I wonder how long the charge is on them, but I would imagine it's not bad because it's so small.
Yeah, I've heard that the battery life is pretty good on them. So
cool, excellent, good idea. Yeah, I mean, some people just don't want to wear a watch. They don't like having something on their wrist and that sort of thing. And so I get that. Yeah, a ring is probably better.
And I will say the one thing that a lot of people say is a detractor from this one is that there's no alarm function. Mm-hmm. But I think part of the design feature for this one is that it's not going to interfere back with you. It's just tracking. It's not right. It's not going to give you notifications. It's not going to be another thing that you have to pay attention to. It's there to track you and give you some information about yourself.
Put it on and forget about it. Yeah. Awesome. All right, Jack, what's your next gift idea?
My next idea is the Fossil Nutra Gen 6 hybrid smartwatch. I really like this one because it's kind of a melding of a traditional analog watch and a Fitbit kind of watch where it does all the health tracking and everything, but it doesn't have a OLED or LCD screen. It has an always-on e-ink display, which is nice because that also uses a lot less energy, and it also has physical analog hands, so you can get like all your step tracking, your heart rate, and all those normal health metrics you get from a smartwatch. But it looks very clean and you have those actual physical analog hands, which I just like that look.
Yeah, it's sleek. I mean, I can imagine this is something for like a sportsman sort of thing. You know, I mean, I don't know how rugged it is, but it looks very sporty, but classy at the same time. At least the one in black does. And it's $189 on Amazon, which is not bad. I mean, that's right up there. I mean, that's the thing. Watches, a good watch. I think someone my age, we remember when you could get a Timex at the corner drug for $20, but that was kind of a disposable watch, you know. But a good, decent watch that'll last you a while. You know, this is not a bad price. I like that. That's a good choice. All right, so my next one is not a wearable. I kind of ran out of steam on wearables, and I didn't have. I've got to do this for 4 weeks, so I have a lot of gift ideas I got to come up with, and this didn't fit anywhere else, so I'm sticking it here. So that's just gonna deal with it. That's okay. I'm the host, so I get to do that. So this is so fun. I just love this whole thing. It's the SharGeek USB-C charger. Okay, so it's a little wall wart USB-C charger, but it's so much more. Okay, because first, it is cute because it looks like an old Mac SE30. It's got even with the little disk drive, and it's got the old Mac OS face. But the face is not just decorative; it actually serves a function. When it's charging, it's green. It's a light. It lights up. And when it's in fast charge mode, it turns blue. And when it's in normal charge mode, it turns yellow. When it's in green, it's supercharged mode. And then there's it just turns white when it's done charging. So it detects how much power is being drawn through it, which is great. And then you can have, it comes with a bunch of stickers. You can change what the face looks like if you want to have a think different or the classic hello. So it's a lot of fun. It's it's not cheap. It's $53, but this is a real USB-C fast charger. It's a 35 watt. I think it's 35. It's a 35 watt fast charger that you stick in your bag and you take with you. And, you ought to have something like this anyway if you're out and about and you need to charge stuff. And this is a really nice one. So I had to throw it in there. If anybody who gives me gifts is listening, this will be on my list. So just keep that in mind. So excellent.
It is really cute. I mean,
I like it
100%.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for these little like classic Mac things. I get an Apple Watch charger that's the same thing. It's the classic Mac. So Thomas, I think you've got another one that you wanted to share as well.
I've got one more because I desperately want smart glasses to be a thing. This is just something that I really want. And the spectacles are actually really interesting. So this is the Snapchat set of smart glasses. They're really not terribly expensive. It's a light camera and has some audio capabilities in it. So it's really not as overbearing, I think, as the Google Glass was. But this is sort of moving in the direction that I think the glasses are going to get away with for a while, which is just it has a camera and some audio capability to it. If you prefer to go without the camera, there's one other that I'm including that's called the WGP Smart Audio Glasses. And these look cool because it's just over-the-ear audio capabilities, blue light blockers, basically. So if you're going to use some blue light blockers anyway, you might as well get the headphones built into them so that you just kind of have them sitting over your ear, ready to go. Nice.
I know. I mean, these. How much were the spectacles? Did you see where that was?
I think I saw them for $149. Like they really. Yeah. I was surprised that they were that cheap. Honestly.
I mean, they don't look great. I'll be honest. They're kind of blocky and square. But yeah,
well, they have several different shapes. So if you don't like the blocky square ones, there's like some circular ones, but they are all high fashion.
Yeah.
So they're all weird, and you're not going to get away with wearing them as a regular pair of glasses.
That's right. I mean, yeah.
Do you guys remember the Oakley Thumps?
Oh, the ones with the earphones?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just made me think of those.
And next year they say Apple's going to come out with their AR glasses. Those are going to be ridiculously expensive at first anyway. I mean, those will be my guess is $1,500 to $2,000. But they'll be perfect. I mean, they'll look perfect, right. And they'll be tiny and small, whatever. But they'll be just ridiculously expensive. But this is a fun, less expensive way to get into it. That's for sure. Good.
Yeah, I think for anybody that's into this kind of thing, it's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one last thing I want to mention here in the area of gift giving is the Free Software Foundation has an ethical tech giving guide. I put this in there just for the purposes of full information. They make recommendations for smartphones, personal computers, and other tech devices that they think are cool. Keeping in mind, the Free Software Foundation is anti-proprietary anything. So, like, they recommend the Replicant phone, which is, very fringe. And they basically say, don't buy anything Apple. Yeah, Apple is the meanie when it comes to open source or free software and that sort of thing. So, but there's a few things in here that are interesting. They have a VPN router that they mentioned, and there's some other recommendations and thoughts, things to think about. And so that might be something. They talk about how to get DRM free ebooks, or DRM free music, or DRM free video, and things like that. So, it's just if you want to, look at some of this, it may be something to think about. We'll put that in the show notes as well. All right. So let's move on. I want to thank our patrons first. We'll take a moment to thank the patrons who make it possible for us to create the Secrets of Technology, including JP, Seth H., Marianne R., Karen V., and Jeff K. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue the Secrets of Technology and all the shows at StarQuest, and you can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. Okay, so now we have some headlines we want to talk about. And the first one is something you may have heard recently, where it came out that Amazon's Alexa, I've muted my Alexa in advance, by the way, so she's not responding to this, is apparently, at least according to this headline, which is just a tiny bit of clickbait, a colossal failure, on pace to lose $10 billion this year for Amazon. So the big thing is Amazon has not figured out a way to monetize the Alexa voice assistant. And in fact, most people use it to start timers, turn on smart lights, and play music. And that's pretty much it. I don't know if you guys have an Echo in your home. I guess you don't, Thomas. No.
No.
One of the things I really hate about it is that it's constantly bugging me to do other things. Alexa set a timer for 30 minutes. Okay. By the way, would you like to? No, shut up. Stop. Quiet. Oh, it's always like, yeah.
It's the dystopian future you never thought you wanted.
No kidding. Yeah. But it's always wanting to get me to do other things, to buy stuff or put stuff on a shopping list, because really this was the idea. This was Amazon's whole idea with making this was it would put a computer in your home that connects directly to the Amazon spigot, and they would find a way to get you to buy more stuff from them using the spigot. I've had an Echo for 8 years, maybe even a little longer. I may have bought something directly through it once. It's not important to me to do that. What do you guys think of this story about, but not just Alexa, but the Google Assistant and even Siri kind of being on the ropes?
I think that this article is a little bit of hyperbole. I don't think these things are going anywhere. I think they just have to figure out how to monetize them better. And this may be something where it ends up becoming a subscription service, because I think people forget that with anything that's free like this, like Gmail or YouTube or any of those services, if you're not paying for it, then you are the product. Mm-hmm. And so the way that these are paid for is by advertisements. And I would be interested to see how many people would be okay with paying like $4.99 a month to have a Alexa subscription, or the G Lady subscription, or the Apple one.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that might be a way to do that, but I don't know how successful that would even be.
What about you, Thomas?
I'll be honest. I have never had a good experience with voice assistants. I more often end up yelling at my phone trying to use a voice assistant, and am more distracted from the road, because that's normally where I need it, right? Where I'm driving along and I'm like, hey, okay, thing, call so-and-so, right? And then it goes, it says something completely random or picks another person or whatever, and I'm just like, then I'm completely distracted. I'm gone. I am not focused on the road, which is what I needed it to do
right
in the first place. And so I don't like them. I would like to see them go. I would like to see another technology replace them that's better, which is part of the reason that I really want smart glasses to catch up with what we need them to be doing.
I mean, I think the big problem is they're not where they need to be yet. They're not at good, and they haven't progressed very far. I think, Alexa hasn't, not very far in the past 8 to 10 years. I mean, it's progressed some, but we still have to speak to it using the phrases it will understand. You still have to carefully phrase your statements in order to get the response you want. And that's a terrible experience. I should be able to talk to it like I talk to a person. Hey, would you get me the thing over there? The white one? Sure. Figure it out from context. I know that's a very hard problem, but that's why people are frustrated with it, and they only use it for basic things, for timer. I mean, we sometimes will use it to look stuff up online. Alexa, what's the gross national product of the United States in 2022 or something, silly things like that. In fact, we do that a lot at the dinner table with the kids. Ask questions, and we'll yell out, "Hey, I'm stupid. What's the thing?" And I treat the devices like the devices they are. So I don't talk to people like that. But but I got to tell you, I feel like Siri is going to be the best off with this. I just had to look over, make sure it didn't go off, because Apple doesn't need to monetize Siri because it's a feature of products they're selling for a large amount of money that they're not losing money on. Unlike the Echoes, which I'm guessing Amazon loses money on them. I don't know for sure, but that's my guess. And Siri has improved a lot over the years. So it used to be really bad. It's better now. And I use it all the time to turn lights on and off, to I use it to turn on my TV because it's connected to an Apple TV and stuff like that, and change, find a movie, change the not channels, but streaming apps, that sort of thing. It works for the things I needed to do, and that's. I don't think Apple has huge ambitions for Siri. Let's put it that way, and not looking to monetize it. So, I don't think voice assistants are doomed. I think Alexa may. I wouldn't, like Jack. You asked. I wouldn't pay $5 a month for it. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I would just switch to Siri on everything and just do that. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. My guess is they'll be cutting back, and it's not going to be improving much. And the Echo devices, we'll see fewer of these crazy Echoes. That's the other thing that you see is all these crazy different Echoes that they get, and they might be more expensive. That's my guess.
You know what I would like to see though? I would like to see them make an honest effort to fix a one-touch button to buy things that I get regularly, and just so I can just stick it by that spot on the wall so that when it's running low, I just walk over and I go boop. And
to go back to that, they used to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to see that be a viable tech that they create, and just make it so that I can attach it to whatever I want. It's a button that I can put somewhere in my house and I can connect it to that thing that I rebuy.
Yep. They actually had those a couple of years ago.
Right. Yeah. And then they got rid of them.
They did it as an April Fool's joke initially, and then saw an actual need for it, put it out, and then it just kind of disappeared. So I don't know.
Yeah, the dash buttons. I think the problem became, little kids pushing the button. So then they had to put another step in the middle so that you had to confirm. And then by that point, you're like, why don't I just order it?
Do subscribe and save, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that was the alternative, was subscribe and save, and they save money on sending these devices up. But it would be nice. There was always that promise. Again, back in the 80s when I was a kid, the smart home of the future, the smart fridge, right? You remember that? You could open the fridge and it would keep inventory of what's in there. And when things got low, it would reorder it or put it on your shopping list. That's a hard problem to solve. There's so much stuff in there, or so many weird things. And how does it know when to, but you just, pattern recognition, all that sort of stuff. We need something, that's the next level. And we keep butting up against it, and we really haven't progressed very far in the past 10 years on this, I don't think.
And I think it's one that's going to be challenging if anybody wants to try and solve the home assistant problem or the virtual assistant problem.
Yeah.
It's a tall order because, and I'll just give you the example from me. This is the thing that always bothers me. I will say to my phone, call my wife, and I use my last name, and I state my last name the way that I state it. And they say it back a different way. At least they get it sometimes, but they say it back a different way. It's
problem.
Yes, I think the three of us are all in the same boat. We've got hey, Italians exist. You know what I mean? We don't erase us. Say our names the way you should. But yeah, that is a problem. So our next story is this headline: Are you ready for workplace brain scanning? So, I mean, this sounds really horrific at first, but then you dig into it, and maybe not so bad. So the idea is the whole brain scan, the EEG, the electroencephalogram, where they put all those electrodes in your head, that's progressed, and that's gotten much better. And now they figured out a way to do this with fewer electrodes, and able to scan your brain and get particular bits of data. And this article talks about a couple of different ways they're looking at using that in the workplace. One was really interesting. The use case that they give, the example they give, is of a TSA X-ray inspector. So as the bags are flowing by in the conveyor belt, see the X-ray on the screen, they're looking for bombs and guns. Okay. And they only have so much time between them. And what happens is the brain scanner, their brain sees the pattern of they seize the gun before they can speak, much faster than you can say something or even touch a button or alert. And so what they found is that they can show 3 images a second to someone who's trained to look for these things. And their brain is seeing it even if they're not registering it. And so when they're done, it will bring up all the images that had the gut, and it's right. And it's kind of fascinating to see. So that they're looking at, it's about keeping your attention. So you have to be paying attention. It's not a passive thing. You have to be focused, and that's kind of hard. And you also have to be trained. It's not just anyone can do it. You have to be someone who knows what you're looking for. But if that's the case, it shows it to you. So that's one use case. Another one is this other company that's got these Bluetooth headphones with brain scanners in them that can be used for monitoring well-being in the workplace. And I put well-being in scare quotes. Because all these managers now, they want to quantify, are people stressed? Are people productive? And so this sort of thing is supposed to be providing objective brain metrics to managers. Now, it says that they're not going to be showing the brain metrics of individuals to the managers, but only aggregate, so that they can see what time of the day employees are most focused or stressed, and when they make this change, what happens. And I was watching some, I get I get a little like this could be very bad. But what do you guys think of this? I'll give my opinion on it, but what do you guys think of this?
I think that this is, particularly in the case of the workplace well-being, this is in line with all those other terrible corporate ideas on how to keep employees happy, when the way to keep employees happy is to pay them more and treat them like human beings, not track them and track their metrics. I don't see that going well at all. I think the other one, basically augmenting someone's brain to scan things, I find that interesting. I feel like in the particular use case it talks about in the article, you could just use machine learning and have a camera do the same thing. But I do think the technology is interesting. But again, I don't want any sort of corporation or government entity putting electrodes on my head to track anything about me. So that's kind of where I fall with that. It does make me, I don't know if y'all watch the IT Crowd, but there's an episode where the boss gets all into tracking people's stress, and it makes me think of that. It's very funny.
Definitely. Well, it's funny you mentioned the AI thing, because this is actually an area where humans are better, because they can intuit the shapes better than computers can. Even with as far as we've gotten with AI, there's still a lot of room for error there, and a lot of room to be tricked as an AI. Whereas a human can kind of intuit that shape much better, but they doubt themselves, they second guess themselves, which is the thing that this kind of does away with, that second guessing / other focus, and takes their direct input and just uses that input raw instead of filtered through their own thought processes, which is really neat.
Yeah.
As to the other, I don't want to be a corporate lab rat. I'm
yeah.
Well, the thing I was going to mention was this idea that as if you can quantify people by numbers, like everything can be boiled down to a chart or a number, and that's dehumanizing. That's not, you're not a good boss in that case. You know what I mean? A good boss, like you said, Jack, pay people well, treat them like adults, expect them to do their job. That should be enough. Listen to them. That's another one. Listen to your employees. They're usually not lying to you. They want to do a good job, by and large. The idea that, I could just picture a boss tweaking. What if we turn the lighting up by 8%? Right. Then we have this effect over here of increased productivity by 3%. And it's I can just imagine. In some ways, it kind of reminds me of the Apple TV Plus series Severance. Which if you haven't seen it, it's not the same thing, but it's it feels like a lab experiment. That I'm not sure what's going on in the show yet. But it really feels like somebody's experimenting on people. And that's kind of what it feels like. It's almost like a lab experiment. And just, no.
And this is, I'm a total data nerd. And I know exactly what I would do if I had this kind of power in my hands. Right, and it would be that kind of stuff, which, and it wouldn't be out of a sense of malice. It would just be out of a sense of curiosity. I wonder what would happen And it's no, I do not need that. I don't need that temptation for me, and I definitely don't want to give it to someone else.
Right. Well, things like, if we decrease their breaks by 3 minutes, we get, so much more productivity out of them. No, don't do this sort of thing. This path is a bad path to go down. So speaking of bad paths, our last headline is about a story you may have heard about. It's a little, the actual story I'm going to talk about is a little dated. It's about a month old, and things have changed since then in the social media world. But the headline is leaked documents outline the Department of Homeland Security's plans to police disinformation. So what it is so they've got this information out of the DHS about how it's been working with big tech companies to police disinformation online and to counteract it. And I feel torn about this one because on the one hand, I dislike the idea of the government having a disinformation police and, regulating what regular citizens can say online and making certain things disappear with a turn of the algorithm on Facebook or Twitter. On the other hand, I also dislike Russia or China or some other bad actor using this tech and bots and trolls and disinformation to manipulate our society. So what do you guys think? I mean, is there a happy middle ground in this?
I think it's being stuck between a rock and a hard place, honestly. I don't trust foreign governments to do this kind of thing well, and I don't trust our government to do it well. Anytime.
But our government does it well.
They do it too well.
I will let you finish, but I got some stuff to say.
Yeah. I don't know. It's even with good intentions, this kind of thing, just, no, I'm not down for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Thomas?
All right. So there was also another recent report about this particular kind of stuff from the social media sites, and they did a rundown of who spent the most on disinformation out of the big three, which is China, Russia, and the US. And it was by far and away Russia. Russia just dramatic amount of spending on disinformation campaigns. And largely, I think that there are some societal things that we have discovered about ourselves in the U.S. that we can fix that were definitely resultant of that disinformation campaign. But for the most part, it didn't destabilize anything. It didn't just wreck the system. Whereas the Americans spent the least on disinformation campaigns. We did do disinformation. There are plenty of examples of it that have shown up in these systems. And I would say that it's been wildly effective because there are many regions of the world that are destabilized in a way that benefits democracy and freedoms that are values that we espouse that would be more amenable to our kind of alliance with them. So I don't know what they were doing, but it seems like our values are kind of spreading more broadly and destabilizing some big systems at the moment. And you can blame it on all sorts of things.
Iran, China.
Yeah. And I wasn't going to say anything particular, but that's definitely one that I'm thinking of. And it's because the things that they're upset about right now are things that have been going on for years. It's not like this is a new thing or a sudden thing, or it's so blatantly awful that it just caused this this debate. So I feel like if we are doing this, we're economically winning this disinformation battle.
Interesting.
as Americans. But I don't know. I see value in us paying more attention to it, but I think that rather than having a centralized system that navigates this, I would like to see the enforcement of this on the platforms itself incentivized. And I think that would be a better approach to it.
I think maybe, I don't know if I misunderstood just through reading the article. The way I took it was this was them policing what they considered to be disinformation on services to U.S. citizens themselves. And that would be the issue I would have, is that they would decide what is disinformation and silence that.
Yeah. Right. And because the other report, I'll see if I can find a link to this other report too, because one of the things that the other report was saying was that these social media companies have a definition. They have an actual functional definition of what a disinformation campaign looks like. It behaves differently on their system than just regular information being passed out. And so they don't care what it is once it meets that kind of pattern of behavior, they get rid of it. And so I would like to see that incentivized more rather than a determined this thing is disinformation, because the government's notoriously bad at like recognizing patterns and being able to just equally apply a solution to it.
Yeah, Elon Musk was tweeting the other day about how they can see like there are certain accounts that hit the rate limiters. Like they suddenly start flushing out tweets faster than a human being could possibly send them out. And so and he didn't like go into detail, of course, about it, but yeah, like there's a pattern that they see from the bots and there's a spread. So they know how to identify a bot campaign, whatever that campaign is. And that's the thing, is I think most people is okay with that. Nobody wants to see bots, networks taken over, but it's most people's lived experience is getting a flag on an innocuous post on, getting the fact check and that sort of stuff. And it's frustrating to people because they know I didn't say anything that is demonstrably untrue or is disinformation. And it feels like you're getting labeled, like you've done something bad, and people don't want to be told your free speech, the thing that your opinion even doesn't have to be a fact, but your opinion is bad. I think that's what most people are worried about. Whereas stopping bad actors, in organized campaigns, they don't have a problem with that. So, and just as a sort of an example of what you're talking about with the way the U.S. government can sometimes bring about change in very subtle ways. It reminds me of back in the late 80s when the U.S. government supplied Solidarity, the Polish freedom movement, the Polish labor union, with fax machines, which the Polish government didn't have. And so they communicated faster than the Polish government did, which enabled them to do more and may have contributed in a substantial way to the fall of the Iron Curtain. So, that sort of activity. So it makes you curious in what ways are they empowering protesters in places like Iran and China and that sort of stuff. Kind of interesting. So I guess that does it for our headlines. So let's move on to our picks of the week. And Thomas, I'll let you go first.
All right. So this one's kind of a silly, nerdy thing, but it's called the battery organizer. And it's just a case that you store batteries in. But it also has like a little multimeter in it that is specifically for batteries. So it's not like wires and everything. You just put the battery in and close it up, and it measures how the charge that's left on the battery. I love this thing. It is fantastic because I can tell my kids, hey, just go grab a couple of AA's. They know which pocket inside of the battery organizer the AA's live in, so they can just go pop it open and grab them out. It stores a lot of batteries. And a lot of different sizes of batteries too. So A cells, D cells, all AA's, AAA's, lots of AA's. It even has space for the little disc batteries that you get, so you can stick some disc batteries in there.
Sierra 2032s.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it's a dumb one that I haven't thought of it. And the reason I recommend it is because I tripped on it on my way into the office tonight, and I was like, that is like a perfect tech pick. I really need to recommend that one to people.
I have a similar one I've had for ages. Although I like this a little better because there's slots. This is like racks that you slide them in, but they tend to fall out of that. I like this one better. But it's such a nice little way to just organize, and you know where to go when you need a battery. You're not rooting around in a drawer. I hate that. That's really nice.
And this thing's sturdy too. This thing's just like a really good solid build. It's got a see-through lid on it, so you can see the batteries, but it's a good solid lid that when you close it, it actually snaps shut and nothing's going anywhere.
That's awesome. Do they also have a toolbox version too? That's nice when they get put in a toolbox. Let's see if they link to where you can find it. If I can find a Amazon link, I'll give that, because it doesn't look like they have a purchase link on their website.
You can find them on Amazon though. If you just search for the battery organizer on Amazon, you'll run into them.
I'll try to get that link into the show notes. Excellent.
I need this for my garage.
Right. Everyone needs something like that. Jack, what have you got for a pick this week?
All right, my pick of the week is an app that I have found very useful. Over the past few months, I decided to get sober, and I am using this app called Everything AA. It's a fantastic app that basically has all the literature for Alcoholics Anonymous. It's got the big book, the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, all that different stuff. It has a sobriety counter, which is really nice, and it just contains it all in one place. So if you're out and about and you don't want to take the books with you, you have it all in this app, and it's free on both iOS and Android, and it's been a fantastic resource for me.
That's fantastic. Awesome. Does it link to meetings and stuff? Oh yeah, it has a meeting finder?
Yeah. So you can, depending, wherever you are, you just put in your location. It'll show you where all the meetings are.
That's awesome. Great. That is a really nice pick. Excellent. And I'm glad that you are getting well. So awesome.
Thank you.
So my pick this week is an app called Widget Wall. So I love having widgets on the desktop. So you have widgets on your phone. I've always loved having widgets on my desktop for my computer. And back in the day, I had Geek Tool. In fact, I still use Geek Tool, even though it's no longer officially supported under Mac. I will use it until the day it stops working. Widget Wall is not exactly as powerful as Geek Tool. You can use shell scripts and stuff in Geek Tool. Widget Wall doesn't quite do that yet, but Widget Wall does do a few different things. You can put a calculator on your screen. You can put photo. This goes on the wallpaper, so it's underneath all your apps. It just lives there. And if you have a Mac and you do the if you have a trackpad, if you do the 4-finger swipe open, the reverse pinch, it makes all your windows go to this clear out. And you can see your desktop. And so I do that all the time to see, oh yeah, I want to see what the temperature is outside, and boom, I do that, or that sort of stuff. So Widget Wall is really great. It's let's see, I saw the pricing earlier. It is $10 a year in the App Store. However, what's coming next. It's available on SetApp. So if you are a SetApp subscriber, you get that with it for no additional cost. So, so if you subscribe to SetApp, you just, try it out.
I have something similar on Linux. It's called Conky. But you have to basically write the stuff in yourself. So, as per Linux, the difference between Apple and Linux is Apple, you just swipe it in there and it's done. But with me, I'm sitting there learning shell scripting and figuring out how to write the back end of it.
That's what Geek Tool was for me, because you'll learn that. I have Ruby scripts running the 7-day forecast that it's pulling off of Dark Skies API that is going away next year. I have to figure out the new Apple weather API because they bought Dark Sky. But it was so much fun to learn that, though, to figure out how to get it on there. And I even have it putting the temperature from my smart home monitors. So I know what the temperature is here in my office and the temperature in the other room. So it's on my desktop. So I'm
cool.
How hot is it in here? Oh, it's 75. I better turn the fan on. Oof. So, whatever, that sort of thing, or get the heater on. So it was a lot of fun to figure that out. Then I hope that Widget Wall gets to that point where they try to get a little more geeky with things. But right now, it's got some basic widgets that they provide to you. So that's a nice little thing.
It's cool.
All right. So that should do it for this time. We would love to hear any of your thoughts on what we've discussed in our Christmas gift ideas. If you have wearables Christmas gift ideas, we'd love to hear those. We'll read those out on a future episode. You can comment on the show at sqpn.com/technology or the StarQuest Facebook page, facebook.com/StarQuestMedia. Send an email to technology@sqpn.com. Visit the StarQuest Discord community at sqpn.com/Discord. We have a very active channel that's for the Secrets of Tech. Lots of folks there talking about things. You can find links from our discussion and our picks of the week and our gift ideas on our show notes at sqpn.com. Remember to like each episode of Secrets of Tech on Facebook, on Twitter, where we're at SQPN. We're on Instagram at StarQuest Network, and leave us comments where you find us. We want to thank James for his research assistance in this episode. And until next time, Jack Baruzzini, thank you for joining me and sharing the secrets of technology.
Thanks, Tom.
And Thomas Sanjurjo, thank you as well.
It's been good.
And once again, I'm Dom Bettinelli. Thank you for listening to the Secrets of Technology on StarQuest. Hi, Hi everyone, this is Dom Bettinelli, CEO of StarQuest, with a special message as we approach the Christmas season. This past year, the StarQuest network has continued to expand our mission of exploring the intersection of faith and pop culture through our many entertaining and informative programs. Now we need your generous financial support to reach new audiences with more of the life-changing and uplifting programming we've been creating for more than a decade. That's why it's very important that we hear from you this Advent and Christmas, the time when nonprofits receive most of their support for the year. If you are already a supporter of StarQuest, we thank you and ask you to prayerfully consider increasing your support at this time. If you're not yet a supporter, please become one now. Every gift counts. Could you give $15 or even just $10 per month? Whatever level of support you can offer, please show your support for SQPN this Christmas. And remember that your gifts may be tax deductible. Just go to sqpn.com/give. That's sqpn.com/give. May God bless you this Advent, and may you have a blessed Christmas season.